The one fight that everyone keeps hitting me up about on social media, of course, is UFC 249, Khabib versus Ferguson, scheduled to be in Brooklyn, New York in April. So you have several weeks before that scheduled bout. I know you can't speculate, but how is any of these things you're dealing with now impacting potentially that fight between Khabib and Ferguson?
Yeah, so we had possibly a couple of different venues for that fight, including Nevada. So now the whole Nevada thing went down, so we're looking for another venue. I hope by but probably 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, I should have 2 venue options for that fight. That fight will happen. It will go on, and the fans are all freaking out about that. Do not worry. Khabib versus Tony will happen.
I guess a lot can change in 3 weeks. So we're, last time we were leaving Toronto, and then 3 days later the world ended. It was, NBA shut down. Little by little, everything else started to shut down, and sure enough, every MMA show since then has been either canceled or postponed. And but we're still in camp for 249. As of today, we still don't even know where. We don't know if it's in the States. We don't know if it's overseas, but. We're a little under a month out. We just have to keep getting ready and keep training. A lot of the gyms that we're used to using are not available to us, so now we're basically quarantined up in New Hampshire, training at some different places. So it's been a crazy few weeks, to say the least. Yeah, we had a pretty good schedule for the rest of camp. Like, you laid out and kind of a path to 249. But obviously, with everything that's going on, things change, and now the schedule's kind of up in the air. It's almost a day-to-day thing because, first it was this state, then that state, and then this gym, then that gym. And so everything that we're kind of planning is staying very fluid, and we have to be very flexible with our schedule. So, right now we have a good plan for where we can train the next few weeks, but even that can change. And kind of I guess you could say, the last line of defense that we have is throwing mats down in my garage where we can do strength and conditioning and roll there. And if worse comes to worse, if they keep shutting Massachusetts down, Calvin will just have to stay with me in New Hampshire for the remainder of camp. Yeah, Calvin's got a pretty good mindset right now with everything that's going on. There's a lot of stuff up in the air, a lot of questions. I think a lot of maybe younger fighters or more mentally weak fighters wouldn't be dealing with the situation very well. But Calvin just knows he has a task at hand. On April 17th, he has to weigh 146 pounds. And on April 18th, he gets in a fist fight. We don't know where that is. We don't know what country. We don't know any of that stuff. But at the end of the day, we're just focusing on what we can control. And all we can control right now is staying in shape, eating the right stuff, and being ready to fight on the 18th. And that's our job for the remainder of camp until the UFC tells us, it's off. So I think he's been dealing with the adversity really well. At the end of the day, everybody else on the card is dealing with the same thing that we are. So he's a true professional, and I think he's setting kind of a blueprint for younger fighters when they complain about the little things that little hiccups that happen in camp. As we can point to this situation as Calvin's getting ready for the biggest fight of his life. It's a little over 3 weeks away. He still doesn't even know what country it's in, but his attitude's amazing. He's still training hard. He's looking sharp, and he's not getting not letting this beat him down at all. He's ready to go. He's still excited about getting his hand raised and climbing the ladder.
It's definitely a little crazy right now. Calvin's trying to finish up his camp. It's been tough with the gyms closing down, but we've been lucky enough to find some spots to come train. As far as the local MMA scene goes, it's been tough for us too. I had a fight. It's supposed to be 2 weeks out right now, Combat Zone MMA, but they had to close that down. It's understandable, man. It's tough. We're kind of just dealing with what we can control. We can't control what's going on right now, so we just got to do what we can, and that's just keep training, keep working hard, and staying safe at the same time. We're making sure we're staying with the same group of people and training with the same group, and that's all we can do right now. So Calvin's definitely been a little bit of a role model, especially during this situation. seeing how he handles it, and I'm just looking at what can I take from that. And he just puts his head down, does what he's told, and works. He doesn't let anything distract him. He just keeps saying, man, this gives him a chip on his shoulder. He's just going to train that much harder because of it, and just control what he can, and that's showing up, getting better, and getting ready for a fight whenever that's going to be.
You know, it is a very unfortunate circumstance, and I think, but I do think that Calvin's one of these guys that has faced a decent amount of adversity in his career. So although this is a situation nobody's ever been through before, I don't think it's really affecting Calvin that much. His focus is there, everything is there. His mind is on this fight right where it should be, and I think as a team, we're all staying in touch and working together. I think with 3 weeks out, Calvin's actually, despite all the challenges going around with the coronavirus, I think that Calvin is actually, with 3 weeks to go here, I think he's actually more prepared than I've ever seen him for any of the previous fights. He's just 1 round off, 1 round under where he was for total rounds with for boxing sparring for where he was for the last fight, and so we're gonna pass that mark sometime later this week, and then maybe another sparring session after that. So he'll definitely have the most boxing rounds sparred that he's had for any fight.
Last few weeks have been pretty tough on everyone in the country, especially guys like Calvin Kattar who are preparing for a fight. Overall, last few weeks, nothing's really changed. He's stayed focused, he's continued to work hard, and I've seen the same improvement every single day. He's getting better. If there's one type of athlete or type of person to find the positive in a situation like that, it would be a guy like Calvin Kattar. Overall, I would have to say that I'm very impressed at how he's handled the situation, knowing that there's a huge distraction like that hanging over his head. I know he's been able to focus it and use it to his advantage and work around it. So, my hat's off to him. He's working his ass off, and he's ready to go. Overall, I would say that there was, maybe a week where there was a little confusion, but we still managed to make time to get the things done that we've been working on. I would say overall, he's been able to improve, and his trajectory is going in the right direction every single week.
I mean, since Toronto, it seems to have only gotten worse every day. Numbers keep multiplying, and open doors seem to be more limited, and I'm just getting in where I can right now, and just a tight-knit group. Got my manager coach, Tyson Chartier, Carlos Neto, my wrestling coach, John Deupree, mitt coach, Jake Manini, and just working with those guys, staying ready as possible, and keep an optimistic outlook, because it's real easy to get dim and keep that victim mindset. But when everything else is changing on the outside of the cage, all I'm focusing on is what's going on inside, and that's all I can control. So it's getting my full attention, and I can't wait for April 18th, get this W, and move on. It seems like there's always something going on. Right now it's the coronavirus, but I mean, there's negatives every day, whether or not you choose to focus on them or not. For me right now, I'm just focusing on all the positives and the things I can control, and that's my energy when I walk into the room, and the effort I put into each workout. So to focus on anything ahead of today, or the workout ahead of me, would be to pull from it, and that would be a mistake. So I'm just focusing all my attention on the present right now, in the moment, each session, day in, day out, and come fight night, I'll be ready to go.